That was reasonably lackluster. I know we've gone through this the last couple of times, where I do this whole kind of really patronising thing of, you can do better than that. We're only going to do one more, and then I'll stop patronising everybody. So, welcome to this month's working title. This makes me feel better, because I stood up here and I just, I like hearing people cheering. That's great. We have a really great night. This is a fantastic problem to have, is that we've run out of space. Which is kind of a great problem to have, because it means we're busy and we've got people here kind of taking part, and that's fantastic. Apologies that there isn't enough tables. We will try and sort this out for next time. Yes, we're going to have a pretty amazing night tonight. I'm going to witter at you for a little bit. Then we're going to bring up our first guest, who performed in Kendal on Friday. Don't ask him about it, that's all I'm going to say. It should have been a lot of fun. Yeah, less said. Right. Then we're going to have a short break while everybody charges their glasses. Then we're going to have the open mic section. We'll have another short break, and then we'll have our final guest, who is phenomenal as well. But yes, I'm going to witter at you to start with. And I'm going to read something that I had written before I ever started performing, that I was reminded of, because the person who is responsible for all this, who's currently tucking into her food, I'm not going to kind of interrupt her too much, that one. She brought something in today, something which, for some god-known reason, I'd given you before I'd ever even stood up in front of a microphone and started all this. So yeah, if you don't like this, it's her fault. So, this was written in reaction to a phenomenal piece of writing by a guy called Mark Grist, who I'm sure a number of you have heard of and seen the videos of. And he wrote a piece called A Girl Who Reads. And it's an amazing piece. If you haven't seen it before, have a look. It's well worth a look. And I listened to it and I had a reaction to it. And this was my response. So, yeah. A mate who knows. I sit with my mates and I've come to realise that, much like Grist's Girls Who Read, I want a mate who knows from my eyes whether what I really need is a pint or chats or hug. I know the ignorant may say that's gay. In reality, they're the ones exposed as mugs who don't quite get the true importance of being around a mate who knows you better than you know yourself, who understands your ebbs and flows, who wants what's best for your emotional health. I want a mate who knows just when to fill the void with mindless chatter, because, let's be honest, now and then, talk of sport and less serious matters is all you want. And at certain times when booze can act as medicinal tonic, I want a mate who knows the lines and won't be scared to change the topic to something that maybe needs to be said, to something I don't want to face. I want a mate who knows my head and will push me, won't give me the space to back out of difficult situations, who will force me to actually engage my brain and work out my own life revelations. I want a mate who knows my pain, or at least can sympathise, won't fob me off with false platitudes, bullshit answers, unhelpful lines. They'll have to know my attitudes, and maybe even some they'll share, how stick-thin girls don't always float the boat, and working shift patterns aren't really that fair. I guess what is important, through all of the highs and lows, is to have somebody there. It's to have a mate who knows. Yes. Yeah, written a while ago. God, it feels so different to read that. That's 3.5 years old, so yeah, longer than I've been doing this, which is quite terrifying. I should have said before the start of this, this is an adult evening with adult language. So, yes, if any of you are of a nervous or timorous disposition and don't like swears or bad language, please leave now, because there will be some adult-themed language in the evening. I have to say that because it's just safer. I'm going to do one other piece. I'm going to be debuting 20 minutes of a show that I'm writing. Some of you have heard little snippets of it from being here before. I'm going to be debuting about 20-25 minutes of it at an event in Blackpool this weekend called Pod Poets. And I'm going to just do one of the pieces that's going to make up it, and then I'll bring Rowland up to start off. So this longer work that I'm doing, this show that I'm doing, is about me becoming a father and stepfather to my other half's little boy, and the relationship that we're starting to develop and figure out between us. Just to give you some context, and it's written in the form of diary entries. 28th December 2016. As I open the door to my parents' house, I hear an excited voice call my name and small, heavy footsteps on the laminate floor as my boy bounds from the front room to welcome me back home from work. He tells me instantly that he has had some king's pie, a French butter cake that is rich and flaky. He tried it for the first time today and he loved it. His mum's voice chips in from the front room I've still not managed to get into with just one slice. My boy looks vaguely sheepish for a moment, but there is a touch of pride there as he tells me, I had mum's slice too. My laughter fills the hall and I carry the chuckles with me as I finally join the rest of my family. I'm told the full story in relay by my mum and my wife-to-be, how they brought a small slice through for my son to try, fully expecting him to say, no thanks, and not even attempt it. Instead, he tucked in and demolished his slice before anybody else had even received theirs. As my mum brought his mum her piece, he intercepted and demolished that piece as well, to the surprise and delight of all present. He is stood in the middle of the room as I am told this tale of the morning, his eyes darting between the two mums present, occasionally looking at me to see how I am reacting to the news. What he finds upon my face must please him, as the smile gets just marginally broader each time he looks my way. I mirror him. Unconsciously, my grin extends as I see how pleased my boy is, and all seems right. Then, our main meal becomes reality, becomes ready. We are, all of us, having turkey and ham pie, and we all hold our breath as we prepare for the outburst and tears that accompanied yesterday's meal, and the request he try a piece of carrot. 20 minutes of him being inconsolable, incoherent, unmovable. We wait for the same thing to happen today. But it doesn't. My boy tries the small pie my mum had made especially for him and once again loves it. We watch as he tucks in and works his way through the crispy potato slices and his pie. Left arm fluttering with enjoyment, his eyes bright with an eternal smile as he looks round the small table and sees happy faces smiling back. To our surprise, the warm Dutch apple pie with its complex flavours and range of textures, the usual red flags when it comes to my son's food, is also gleefully eaten, with only one mildly quizzical look as he bit through a currant and was surprised by the change in texture. But again, he has eaten something new and enjoyed it. I tell him how proud I am that he has tried new things. I wrap him in a hug and make silent wishes that you'll have more days like today. More days of happy experimentation where trials will not be trials, but steps taken onto unknown paths. Steps which we will take together. Thanks very much. Tentative working title for that. Working title. Yes. Tentative working title for the whole piece is going to be called Please Call Me Dad. So yeah, it's going to be debuting some more of that down in Blackpool this weekend. And now, because I've witted at you long enough, I'm going to welcome our first guest. He's been here the last few times we've done this. He's an absolute joy to behold and listen to. It's the wonderful Rowland Crowland.
Thank you, Charlie. Just kick that sort of there, I'll spit all over these people's food. I'm going to start off with a sonnet. Why not? I'm amongst literate people, aren't I? This is called Sonnet Written in a Chippy because, you know, deep in your pocket there's coins jingling, there's ready chips rustling and vinegar chinking, there's pies on a hot plate, puddings in a steamer. This is a place to sit and dream on the wooden bench that's under the window, and outside it's cold and forever the wind blows and it's raining and dark and the window's steamed up and people rush by, they've clocked out and teamed up, and time stands still for some chips and a pie, and just for a moment you're warm inside and safe and sound, and the people in the queue are chatting and laughing, they're feeling it too. Then it's, hey, you over there composing a sonnet, wake up cock, do you want gravy on it? Thank you. Yeah, I did a gig in Kendal on Saturday night, Friday night, and it was badly organised, it was terrible. But there was one magic moment in it. There was a heckler in the audience. And I can deal with hecklers. They always say something like, you shit, or something witty, or it's always something relevant. Yeah, so you can deal with it. Well, this heckler said the most random thing I've ever said, and I didn't know how to answer him. So I'm like reading poetry or speaking or something, blah, 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 and this voice came from the audience. I couldn't see because of the lights, and it went, there's a discrepancy. What the fucking hell does that mean? And I couldn't answer him really, it's just totally random. And anyway, afterwards I thought, sort of, mused on it unconsciously, and I thought, oh, maybe it's not that random because it's poetry, this. There's no discrepancy. How can there be a discrepancy? That's what makes it so good. And I thought, yeah, there's no discrepancy. So I've got a clever comeback next time he comes in my audience and he goes, there's a discrepancy. I'm going to go, no there's not. That's it. This is a religious number. It's called My God Eileen. Why would you have a God called God? I just think it's really very fucking odd. It's like having a dog called dog, or a job called job, or a wife called wife, or a cat called cat. How shit stupid's that? And why does he have to be a man? Is that some kind of master plan? Like a woman can't give birth to mankind, but a man can. What sort of mad plan's that, man? No. If I had a God, she'd have a name like Eileen or Veronica or Sweet Jane, and I'd walk with her holding hands, and I'd talk with her. We'd walk along the sand at the edge of the sea. I'd lie in her arms and dream while autumn leaves fell on me, and I'd love her, and I'd make love to her, and I'd always be her devotee. Yeah, my God would be a she-God. She'd be well good, she'd smell of incense and make more sense than a he-good. Thinking he's holier than me, thinking he can control me, thinking he's got some weird ungodly hold over me. Who knows if I don't go to church on Sunday and who'll scold me? No, mine's a woman God who'll hold me. She'll enfold me in her arms and keep me safe from harm and console me, and say I'm as good as everyone else, and that I'm worth something as well as just walking around down here in fear. Someone who'll hear me when I'm crying, someone who won't care when I'm lying, someone who'll comfort me when I'm dying, someone sublime, someone serene. Yeah, my God, more on religion. I was a Buddhist for a long time. Show's gonna. And during that phase of my life, I was in China for a long time, and spent a long time in the mountains. And I came across, one day I came across this very old, very wise holy man, the Lama. So I thought, I've got to take this opportunity. So I sat with him, and after a while I said, Lama, could you tell me the secret of life? And he said, the secret of life is to agree with everything. So I thought about it a minute. I said, that's bollocks. And he said, yeah, you're right. This is called the Buddha in Manchester. It's a true story. The Buddha was walking down Deansgate when he came across this guy, and he told him of a technique you can use at the point at which you die. You intone some sacred syllables, and instead of them being dead, your consciousness will simply leave through a point at the top of your head. The Buddha gave the guy the syllables and showed him how to meditate, and taught him how to lead his consciousness through the bardo state until he should reach enlightenment in everlasting bliss, and wouldn't return to the suffering that we all experience. He'd instantly be freed from all our hate and greed and crime. And the guy listened to the Buddha and thanked him for his time. He said, I really am so grateful, so thankful that you care, but why don't you try the northern quarter, mate? You get more cranks up there, you know what I mean? This is, I'm going to do a goblin poem. I write quite a lot of goblin poems, and I usually try to slip one in during a set. That's what goblins do, really. They just slip in during a set and slide in or sidle in. This is a goblin poem called Thief. A goblin stole my DNA. I didn't want it anyway, but there's a goblin knocking about Manchester today that looks like me in every way. Someone saw him in Blakely Woods and casing houses on Eaton Park Road. I think he might live in the woods. I'm sure he's up to no good. Someone saw him in the middle of town. He was on Tib Street walking up and down casually like he owned the gaff, pulling faces at the shopkeepers. They were laughing at him. In Harper Asda he stole some beer. The security man shouted, hey, you come here. He was caught red-handed then and there, but he vanished, they say, into thin air. He just stalks about in broad daylight. Ordinary people think he's frightening. He sticks his big nose into babies' prams and he pinches their mum's bums and really frightens them. Jimmy saw him in Bolton, Nevada. He said this goblin was dancing harder than anyone else on the dance floor when the bouncers grabbed him and flung him out the door. Not long after that, the police came for me. I was arrested and taken to Brutal Street, but I explained to the sergeant on duty that day that a goblin had stolen my DNA. I think he believed me. He let me go anyway. A series of short poems, so I'm going to do maybe a longer one at the end. But
is that new?
I wrote this poem a few years ago. It's about slaughter and butchery and death in an abattoir. I wrote it for my daughter Beth, who's actually here tonight, so it's a good time to do it. It's called Sad Ending. Hung up on a hook, a sad ending somehow, waiting to be cut or rendered, blended in a stew, hung up askew, skewered through, nothing left to do. I'm glad my friends can't see me now, I'm thinking, or my children, hanging like this, stinking, upside down. I think I'm dead, bled, no head, no dignity, not me, reduced to soup or sandwiches for someone's tea. Dying hurt me, Hands on me, keen, mean, men who didn't know me, and a machine clean through me head. Not dead right away, noise, knives, confusion, terrible pain. Something's an illusion, something's an illusion. Again and again, drowning on me own in gore, then no more. Don't have to breathe anymore. It's a relief. Is this like grief? I remember being young, strong. I remember birdsong and green meadows and woods and buttercups and gulping cool fresh air, free to wander anywhere. But where am I? Oh yeah, I'm just over there, cold, not even old, just out of luck, waiting to be cut, hung up on a hook. Sad one, that, isn't it? I'll take this. Good enough, thank you, Peter. I'll take this opportunity to plug the Manchester Vegan Festival that's on Saturday on April the 8th. Right, on Saturday. Get yourselves down there. It's absolutely fantastic. Hundreds of stalls, dead interesting, fantastic food, and it's also a vegan beer festival. So how good is that? So get down there, and I'll see you down there. Because it was so sad that I'm going to slip in another goblin poem. Someone said to me recently, your goblin poems, Rowland, they said, are they inspired by Christina Rossetti's classic, The Goblin Market? And I had to give an emphatic no. The poem's alright, I quite like The Goblin Market, but there's a couple of things wrong with it. It's on. I'm told it's on the A-level literature syllabus this year. Are there any literature students here? There fucking won't be a poetry evening, will there? There's a couple of things wrong with the poem that I'll mention. One, there's a couple of gobbling details in there that are unlikely. I don't want to say she made it up. But the second thing about the poem is there's far too much fruit in that poem. It's ridiculous. You don't need so much fruit in a poem. There's something else going on there. There's an undercurrent. But yeah, this is a goblin poem, and it's inspired by nothing other than a goblin. It's called Spy. Fucking music through there. What's that? It's not a backing track, right? This is called Spy. A goblin peeped in through me window. He saw me sitting there. He saw me in me chair. He studied me there. He saw the shape of me head. He watched while I read me book and saw how I held me hand waiting to turn the page. He saw me age. He saw me grey hair. He observed me there. He saw me stare into the mirror and saw me face change from serene to deranged, then back again. He saw me walk round and get another book and looked as I sat back down and saw how long it took to cross my legs. He saw the dregs in me teacup. He could see I'd not dusted. He could see I'd had me dinner and left some crumbs and crust. He watched me put me hand down me trousers to readjust. He saw the poor quality of me clothes. He saw me press me nose the way I do. He could see the newspaper I bought. He saw me grimace at some bad internal thoughts. He saw me rub me eyes. He read the lies I tell myself, the whys and wherefores that get me through, the crimes I committed that nobody knew about. He can also see that nobody cares. But the thing that scares me the most is that he sees me climb the stairs, so he can see me everywhere. He can see that I'm a misfit. He watches me having a shit. He sees the faces I pull when I'm doing it. He can see me in my bed and knows that I sleep at an angle instead of straight. He watches me get up late. He sees me deliberate over what to wear, then hesitate going down the stairs because of me limpy leg. He watches me boil me egg. He watches me butter me toast. Some days it seems I'm simply here to host this nosy bastard. could that be? God, this is a poem about the River Loon. I wrote shortly after we moved up here about 2 years ago from Manchester, and I wrote this. And I used to just chill by the River Loon and go and sort of like meditate there and clear my head. And one day it struck me that what we do with I kind of used to walk the course of the River Loon from where it rises in the Cumbrian fells and winds through Cumbria and Lancashire and through the city here and estuaries in the Irish Sea. And I'd seen it all. It's beautiful, and I thought, what we do to rivers is civilization grows up along the course of rivers because we need the water. But what we do is subject the beautiful river to all the horrible things that humans do to each other, and we've done that historically. So I wrote this. It's called Pity the Loon. Rain falls pure from the heavens on the fell where ravens hail, and gathers as the River Loon in Ravenstone Dale, then laughs and trills in falls and rills, and innocently glides towards the foot of Borrowdale where Romans killed or compromised. Then youthful and exuberant, gorging mountains downward flows, where trains dash and cars crash, and every day bloody the roads. But pretty lies the prospect of green Lonsdale past the kirk, and underneath the bridge that lies where Christians did the devil's work. Then hesitant and faltering, unsure of what's to come, it twists and turns to plot a course back home, but drawn away inexorably westward to the sea. The crooked destiny now leads and creeps inevitably into the town where black clouds hung and righteous hymns to him were sung, whilst all the time his traps were sprung on Gallows Hill where witches swung. A town where beggars still doss down in the dark in the municipal park, deserted and doomed. Down past the quayside where slaves festooned with chains in pain stood, marooned in their new home, lost and alone, never to return to Sierra Leone. Leave them all alone and rush down to the strand, to the wet sand where plovers land, and flee far out into the Irish Sea and bathe in equanimity and drown far, far away from people and towns. But this is a poem that I wrote and performed a few poems this last solstice in December, the winter solstice. I performed these poems at Long Meg and the Daughters, which is my favourite stone circle in the north of Cumbria, just past Penrith. And I performed this. This is called Solstice. And we filmed the session. It was a very poignant moment because it was the solstice, and we're going to upload it onto YouTube and that. And when we got home and played it back, there wasn't any sound on it. Basically, it was me gesticulating in a field. So silent poetry, really. But as a genre, I don't think it's going very far. But for anyone that's seen that on YouTube, this is the soundtrack. Yeah, these are the words. It's called Solstice. Hunkered down in a winter storm, in a bunker to keep us safe from harm. We've oak and ash logs in our arms. We need a fire to keep us warm. I strike a spark from flint and steel. With kindling in my hands I'm kneeling. I'm gonna tell you how I really feel, and then I'll cook us one last meal. I'm scared, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm cold. I don't know when I got so old. Unless there's fire, I'll never hold you again. Our story won't unfold, but this tiny spark won't ignite the tinder. And look right there outside the window. It's bleak and black and the great north wind blows, and it's only death that it's bringing us. Life is spent in cheating and lying. There's nobody left that isn't crying inside themselves while endlessly trying to live a life that's not spent dying. And all along you've seen me here. I'm cold and dark and I'm disappearing. There's nowhere any warmth in this dreary life that's so very nearly leaving. But wait, little sparks are burning bright. Something's happening here tonight. And in our hearts, something just might melt the ice that holds us tight. It's in the very firelight, the tiny flame that's been ignited within the black and endless night. Its sparks have set the stars alight. Life is here and is for living. Yeah, things are ending but just beginning, and at the very point of leaving is the light you must believe in. Something deep inside is stirring, something sprung from endless yearning. It's just the firelight that's burning, but something magical's returning. Solstice, solstice, solstice. Thank you. One more. This is a poem basically about a bloke that I knew when I left school. And when I left school, I worked in a paper mill. And I worked with this guy who's an engineer, and it was our job to sort of like climb into huge machines and repair them. And we mostly fixed what were called beating or pulping machines. And they were like huge basins with big rotary blades inside, and all the sort of scrap paper, paper bales, wood, cardboards got poured into this and with water. And these blades pulped them up basically into paper mache. Then they were subjected to a chemical process and then put through huge rollers, and it made paper for the paper industry. And I worked in that, and I worked with this guy, and this guy sort of took a shine to me. He took me under his wing, sort of thing, and he was a bit of a local legend. He was very much a man's man, and he always told me he'd be famous. He always said he'd make the headlines, and so this is about him really. There's a couple of technical points in this poem. It refers to a crew cut. A crew cut, I don't think you still have them these days. You're smiling, you probably do. It was a haircut that was popularised by American servicemen in the 1940s, which was like shaved up the sides and buzzed up the top like a porcupine. Some gentlemen tried to keep it fashionable into the 50s and 60s and through the 70s and indeed into the 80s, but anyway, that's a crew cut. There's also a reference to Bolton, Nevada. Bolton, Nevada was a roller skating club in the 1960s and 70s in Bolton. When I was a kid, that's what people did for fun, go roller skating. It's where you went to get the action, meet people of the opposite sex. Didn't work for me, like, you know. It's, anyway, Bolton, Nevada, it's a roller skating club. Right, so it's about this guy, it's called Jimmy Nipples. Starts with a chorus. It's a bit avant-garde like that, bro. He's Jimmy, he's the man with the guts. He'll turn everybody's nipples to nuts. He chain smokes his fags right down to the butts. He's got his gang by the spanners and he likes his crew cut. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He knows how to earn much more than a crust. Every morning he has a full breakfast. Every dinner time 4 pints or bust. In the clocking out queue he's always the first. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He said to clock in for him because he's on the minutes. He's got a lovely Ford Capri but he's not coming in it because it's too long a story to even begin it. So just clock him in, it's easy, innit? He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He looks after his tools at a boyish glee. He tightens all his nuts with an Allen key. He has 5 sugars in a man-sized mug of tea and he goes for a shit every day at 3:30. He's Jimmy, he's the man with the guts. He'll turn everybody's nipples to nuts. He chain smokes his fags right down to the butts. He's got his gang by the spanners and he loves his crew cut. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He always buys a Sun and a packet of cigs because that's what life is, son, tits and politics. And if you don't fit in with it, you're a misfit. And all managers are dicks and all politicians are tits. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He'll fettle any metal and make a meal of it. He'll tackle any job with the appropriate drill bit. He says he's good at everything and says he's tough at fit. He had a trial for Bolton, but they said he was shit. He's Jimmy. And he's on his way in. He talks real dirty all over the shop floor. When the women are leaving, he lingers by the door and he whispers them things that'd embarrass a whore. And he says he's shagged Ivy Rowbottom who manages the store. He's Jimmy. He's the man with the guts. He'll turn any woman's nipples to nuts. He chain smokes his fags right down to the butts. He's got his gang by the spanners. He's got a crew cut. He's Jimmy. And he's on his way in. He can't wait for Fridays when he's on his way home. His tea will be ready and then he'll be gone. Straight into Bolton where he's never alone. He'll get to the Nevada if he gets his skates on. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He'll do the dodgy jobs cause he's got the balls. He'll climb over any roof and scale any walls. Even dangerous machines are fuck all. There's nothing but grit under his overalls. He's Jimmy and he's on his way in. He overdid the ale on the Sunday night. On Monday morning I could see he wasn't right. The last time I saw him he asked me for a light. It wasn't till Tuesday we discovered his plight. He's Jimmy, but he's not coming in. He must have fallen into a pulping machine and gone right through the system, albeit unseen, thereby ironically fulfilling his dream of ending up in the papers, if you know what I mean. He's Jimmy. He's Jimmy. He's the man with the guts. He'll turn everybody's nipples to nuts. He smokes his fags right down to the butts. He's got his gang by the spanners and they've all got a crew cut. Thank you very much. Thank you. Another true story.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rowland Crowland!
And that's how we kick off the night. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, we are going to take a short break so you can